Okay, Saxon 4 Math Group, we are ready for Lesson 47. It's going to be dealing with relating multiplication and division again, so we're on Part 2. Let's warm up with some mental math. Now I noticed right off the bat in my tens that if I did it the way we've been doing it with hundreds, tens, and ones, I would have to carry, so that would be confusing. So I'm going to look at this 65 and this 40, and I know that 60 and 40 is 100. So 65 and 40 would be 105. So keep that in the back of your mind. And then 3 and 2, we've got a set of 500 plus that 105, 605. Okay, let's do this one the same way. Look, we've got 56 and 52. Well, I know the 50 and the 50 is 100, and 6 and 2 is 8. So I've got 108. Now look at 4 and 2, and then add that to the 108. 708. Let's look at this one the same way. Really, I'm looking at the 80 and the 40, and I know that that is 120. And then I add the 4 and the 1, I add 5 more. So that's 125, and then add on the 500. 625. With money, we start off with $6 and we're taking away $1.50. Let's do it like this. Go ahead and take away $1. Okay, and that gets you to $5. Now take away 50 more cents, and you've got $4.50. Zakia bought a box of cereal for $4.56 and a gallon of milk for $2.99. How much did she spend? Let's pretend that this is what? $3, and add that to $4.56. That would get you to $7.56. Take away that penny, $7.55. Okay, time. Bree left her home at 7:20 a.m. She arrived at school at 7:45 a.m. How long did it take Bree to get to school? So I'm looking at the difference between 20 after and 45 after. So you could count. You could say, okay, 7:20 to 7:30, that would be 10 minutes, and 7:40, that would be 20 minutes, and then 5 more, 25 minutes. Estimation. Kenesha estimated that each story of the building was 10 feet tall, and Kenesha counted 6 stories. So estimate the total height of the building. 6 stories times 10 feet, 60 feet tall. Okay, here we go. Calculation. 2 times 9. 18, right? And 18 plus 30, 48, right? Now, let's pretend this is 30. So 48 plus 30, 78. Take away 1 real quickly. 77 plus 110, 187. Okay, let's think about our problem-solving strategy, and here's the number. Counting by fourths, we say 1/4, 1/2, 3/4, 1. Draw a number line from 0 to 4 that is divided into fourths. Use quarter-inch marks on a ruler to place each tick mark on the number line. Label each tick mark. Which number is halfway between 2.5 and 3? And which number is halfway between 3 and 4? So this is kind of like a short answer problem that we might have, for a test, and what we might have for the end of the year test too. So I'm going to use my ruler, my digital ruler here. And I'm going to make it larger so that you can see it. And I've noticed that my centimeters are on top today, so I'm going to reverse that where I have my inches on top. And it told me to do a number line from 0 all the way to 4, if I can get that. Okay, now I'm going to make tick marks for every quarter inch. So I'm going to start with, it'll let me do that here. There's my 0. Here's 1/4. I think I'm going to have to move my ruler down just a little bit. Okay, here's 1/4. 2/4 or 1/2, 3/4, 1. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do 0 and 1. And let me see exactly what I'm supposed to label. Label each tick mark. Okay. So we have to do 1/4, 1/2, 3/4, 1. Okay, now let's keep going. Can you do the next 4 all the way to 2? So this is 1 1/4, 1 1/2, 1 3/4, 2. Okay, now we're going to make it all the way to 3. 2 1/4, 2 1/2, 2 3/4, 3. And finally, all the way to 4. 3 1/4, 3 1/2, 3 3/4. Now let's see what questions we had to ask. We've labeled each tick mark. Now, which number is halfway between 2 1/2 and 3? So let's look at that first. 2 1/2 and 3. And what is right between them? 2 3/4. Which number is halfway between 3 and 4? So here's 3, here's 4, and halfway in between, what do we have? 3 1/4. Example 1. Use digits and a division symbol to show 24 divided by 6 3 ways. And the first way that I like to do, first off, is I like to say 24 divided by 6. So that's one way you could write it. You could also do 24 divided by 6. I like to think of as these two little dots are divided by the line. Okay? On this one we say divided by. And the last way is to say 24 divided by 6. That's really what fractions mean. They are really division problems. And you can take a fraction and punch it into your calculator and say 24 and then hit your division symbol and then 6 and then hit equals and you'll have your answer. I can show that to you real quickly. I keep my calculator handy. Okay, so if we start with the top number here and we say 24, and this is the division symbol on this calculator. Sometimes it'll look like this, but sometimes it'll look like a slash mark because you could also write your fraction like this. However, you know, and I think it's much less confusing for students if we do it like this. But know that that diagonal mark is also divided by. So I've put in 24 divided by 6 equals, and the answer is 4. And here's how I would write it with this one. Here's how I would write it here. Here's how we would write it here. Okay, and I have to make sure if I've used a fraction that I make it clear that this is a whole number I'm talking about. So I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so there we have it. Okay, this just says solve. So 28 divided by 4. You're thinking of your 4 multiplication facts. Okay, 4 times something is 28. And if you can't think of it right off the bat, I hope you can, but if you can't, the problem-solving strategy is to think, well, 4 times 5, that's 20, so I need to go higher. 4 times 6, 24. 4 times 7, that's 28. So this one equals 7. Now let's look at B. This really means 27 divided by 3, so let's think of our 3 multiplication facts. 3 times something will give us 27. It is 9. Okay, now think of it this way also. Think about groups. Look at A. It says 8 divided by 1. That means if I have 8 kids and I want to divide them up into groups of 1 person each, how many groups will I have? I will have 8. Okay? Now look at this one. What if I have 9 kids show up and I need to make groups of 9? How many groups would I have? I'd only have 1. Now look at this one. I have to read what's inside the little doghouse first. Okay? If I have 0 kids show up and I was hoping to put them in groups of 4, how many groups would I have? Well, I would have 0 because nobody showed up. I had 0 to start off with to make my groups of 4. So, gee, that day was blown, wasn't it? Okay, example 4. Use the numbers 3, 5, and 15 to write 2 multiplication facts and 2 division facts. Doesn't that sound familiar? We've done this before. We've been doing it for a long time with addition and subtraction. Okay, and you'll notice that addition and subtraction are opposites, aren't they? We call that inverse operations because inverse means opposite. So now we're working with another set of inverse operations. Multiplication is the opposite of division. They're inverse operations, okay? So you're going to also notice that just like with addition, it really doesn't matter which we do, whether we write the 3 or the 5 first. So I'm going to make a note to myself. I'm using 3, 5, and 15. So with my multiplication facts, I can start with 3 times 5 equals 15, or I can start with 5 times 3 equals 15, and that is called the commutative property of multiplication. We've already talked about the commutative property of addition, and when people commute somewhere, that means they move, okay? If they commute to work, they have to drive from home to work, they move. Okay, so it doesn't matter if we move these around, if we commute them around, that's still the commutative property of multiplication, and our answer will be the same. However, just like subtraction, remember on our subtraction problems, we always had to start with the largest number in the fact family. Same thing for division. So both of our division facts are going to start with that largest number, okay? So we could say 15 divided by 3 equals 5, and we could say 15 divided by 5 equals 3. So there you have it. And it says, why can we write a fact family of multiplication and division equations? I'll give you a hint. It's the same reason we can write fact families with addition and subtraction, because they are, what did we call them? Inverse operations. Means they're opposites. Okay, for a science project, Siobhan timed the speeds at which garden snails moved. One snail moved 11 centimeters in 1 minute. And at that rate, how far would it move in 12 minutes? So they made a table here showing minutes in centimeters. 1 minute, 11 centimeters. 2 minutes, 22 centimeters. Hey, these are your 11 multiplication facts. And when you fill it in all the way, let's see, 55, 66, 77, 88, 99, 110, 121, 132. So that would be 132 inches in 12 minutes for final answer. Okay, now let's do a little bit more practice. 49 divided by 7. So think of your 7 multiplication facts. 7 times 7 is 49. 45 divided by 9. Think of your 9s. 9 times 5 is 45. 40 divided by 8. 8 times something will give you 40. 8 times 5. Okay. 6 divided into groups of 6 will give us 1 group. 32 divided into groups of 8 would give us 4 groups. And you can think, okay, 8 times something will give me 32. Oh, it's 8 times 4 is 32. And 6 times 1 is 6. If you have 27 and you put them into groups of 3, how many groups would you have? So think of your 3 multiplication facts. 3 times something's 27. It's 9. Use digits and 3 different division symbols to show each division. Okay, 27 divided by 9. Here we go. I like this best. 27, divided by 9. 27 divided by 9, and 27 divided by 9. Now 28 divided by 7. 28 divided by 7. 28 divided by 7. 28 divided by 7. And the only tricky one is that when you use this symbol right here, you have to remember whatever you start with goes inside the doghouse. So whatever you say first goes inside. Use the numbers 12, 3, and 4 to write 2 multiplication facts and 2 division facts. So 12, 3, and 4. So if we start with multiplication, should we start with the 12? No. It's going to be last. So 3 times 4 equals 12. 4 times 3 equals 12. And now with our division facts, we have to start with the largest number in the family. 12 divided by 3 equals 4, and 12 divided by 4 equals 3. Now it's asking us to do the very same thing with 36, 4, and 9. 36, 4, and 9. 4 times 9 equals 36. 9 times 4 equals 36. So this is what property of multiplication? Remember, we moved them, we commuted them. It's the commutative property of multiplication. Now with division, we have to start with the largest number in the fact family, 36 divided by 4 equals 9, and 36 divided by 9 equals 4. And we are finished, and you get to go back and check 46. So hit pause as you check 1 through 9, and remember, I do expect you to correct your mistakes. Hit pause as you check 10 through 26. And hit pause as you check 27 through 30 and the early finisher if you are a go-getter. And you will be finished.